Brodes Media.
Let's start with our quarterbacks. Let's start with Marcus Mariota. I saw a lot of athleticism. I saw that he could run the football and utilize some options. And yeah, that's about it. I don't feel great about his arm. I don't feel great about his accuracy. There were some throws that you have to make. Now, can you make the argument that if he's playing a game and Jalen Hurts needs a week off, needs a couple weeks off, whatever it is, if unfortunately we are in that predicament, it's going to be A.J. Brown. It's going to be Devontae Smith. It's going to be Dallas Goedert. It's going to be your top offensive line. So can it be better? Sure. The problem is, though, there were guys open for him to hit, and he did it. Forget about anyone being better, blah, 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 blah. He's missing Alcantara in a spot where you gotta hit him, man. You gotta put it in a spot for him to make the catch. It's 5 feet high. It's sailing over his head. It's going in no man's land. So I don't know, man. I mean, I know Tanner McKee stood out to everyone. He's still very raw. I don't think he's ready to take the jump for that type of role right now. I think he looks confident. I think he's trusting his arm. I think McKee sees things and isn't afraid to try and zip it in the window, which is phenomenal. There's still a lot to be done, though, and Mariota does have the track record of starting games in this league, and there was a 3rd and long where he uses his legs and he gets the first down. There was a 4th and 1, and we're going to keep our foot on the gas. We're going to go for it. They get it with him. So he did make some plays out there, and I don't know. I mean, I really hope we're not really in a position where we're having this play out in front of us in the regular season. But if you look at what Jalen Hurts has done over the last 2 seasons, there was a time for Gardner Minshew. There was a time where you needed someone to step into that role and give you a fighter's chance to be in the game and then help you out along the way. And I don't know if I feel comfortable with Marcus Mariota, to be fair, but I really don't know what your alternative would be with where your current roster is at. McKee did show some signs, and he did show some nice things out there. I just can't go out of my way and automatically start plucking at him for a team that is ready to go win a Super Bowl, for a team that is competing legitimately. That's not the time for him to step into a backup role. That is a project, and it's going to take a couple years to start peeling away at what he is and to mold him. Mariota, 2nd drive, 3rd and 1. What can this offense do? There was movement with the offense. It was moving downfield. Unfortunately, though, a couple penalties. Opeta had a penalty, which moved them back 5 yards. Then there was a delay of game, which made it now 3rd and 11, and it stalled what the offense was doing. Some good versatility out of Brian Johnson. Everything is very vanilla, but you use the run, you use the pass. You kept the other team on their toes a bit. Swift, I'm not surprised that he takes off, and you see his shiftiness. You see what he's capable of doing. That's enough, all right? I already got my eyes on DeAndre Swift, and I know that he's going to do damage, and he's going to create a bunch of havoc, and the guy is special. McKee, a few things. I did like when he was in the huddle, and they showed him on the broadcast and all. There were a few times where I'm like, that's a quarterback. That's a leader. Seriously, he's in the huddle. He's going, here we go, boys. Hey, here we go. He's rallying the troops. Then I guess there was some miscommunication on a play, and he's looking at his receiver as he's coming back to the huddle, and he's jawing at him, and he's talking to him, and he's, communicating. Now, whether that was with attitude, whether that was more about, hey, man, we got to make sure we're on the same page, whatever it is, it's hard to know when you can't actually physically hear them. It was just more about the purpose. It was more about the idea of, we made a mistake, we screwed up, whoever fault it is, we need to tighten things back up, and there is that leadership quality. When it's your first time, even though it is a preseason game, you can get overwhelmed. It could be a lot of pressure. You can start getting happy feet. We see it way more than we don't see it. We saw Ian Book couldn't process a damn thing, and I don't know what the hell was happening with him holding on to the football. It was a tragic thing for Ian Book. Not so much with Tanner McKee, and he played the position positioned like a project third-string quarterback with high upside. I think that's the perfect way to kind of describe it. A few throws to Ngata. Ngata, the one, was an offensive pass interference call, but it was a really nice throw. Left the ball in an area for his receiver to make a play and did it. And then there was the touchdown pass that came off the scoreboard. Like his feet were out of bounds, Ngata was, but it's just along the lines of processing the information. Here's a play. You're rolling around. All right, let's see what we can do. And they made something happen there. You got to keep your feet in bounds and can't leave the end zone. But it's promising signs for an interesting kid. I think that's kind of where I'm at with him. You just saw someone who was confident, and that's very important to me in that role. This is from Tucker. Hey, Brodes, out of everything that happened in Baltimore, what was the most impressive takeaway? Always appreciate the pods. I appreciate your text messages, Tucker. I don't know. I guess, and it's simple. I say I don't know because I don't want to be cliche. Sometimes you can't run away from the obvious, though. And I think Tanner McKee was fun. He was fun to watch, and he impressed me for what he is. I just think that he stood in the pocket, and he believed in his throws. You don't want to make a mistake, right? Think about where you are. You're fighting, you're battling, you're crawling, you're clawing, you're doing all this stuff. I can't throw an interception. I can't make a mistake. He looked poised. He looked comfortable. Didn't look like he was worried about that. Instead of I can't screw up, it was I have belief that I can make this throw. And you need that. You're toast if you think any other way. If it's don't screw up, don't screw up, don't screw up, which at times I think Mariota does that. I think it's don't do too much, don't mess this up, we can't turn the ball over, I'm going to take off and run. My first read's not there, I'm going to leave the pocket, I'm going to tuck the ball, I'm going to go. And you need to have a balance because, yeah, you want to ask your backup quarterback to keep the ball in your offense's hands. Don't turn it over. Don't put the other team at an advantage with a short field. Then you ask your defense to do too much. So you have to find some sort of middle ground, but you can't overdo it where you don't trust your own ability. So I think Tanner McKee is probably my biggest impressive takeaway.